back with another live stream. And let me check my audio and all that stuff before I decide that. Okay. Got audio, got picture. All right. So, I have ordered. I was talking about this. This is going to be a follow-up with my security camera setup, and I'm gonna test. I bought a security camera, an IP security camera, and I'm going to. I'll open it up here and we'll look it over, and I'm going to test it with. I'm sitting real straight, and I'm getting too far from the mic because of I got my little workbench in front of me here. So let's get that out. Get my keyboard out of the way. And the stream's always doing that. Well, it's in the red zone, but usually after a while it'll get straightened out. Okay, so there that is. Now let me aim my camera down at the desk or the workbench. Okay. Now, first I thought, oh, that thing came. I ordered it at Amazon. I thought it came in a bag, but it's there's a box in there. Guess that was just the easiest way for them to do it. It's probably the manufacturer's box that's inside of there. And I do like it. I don't like it when they whoever's sending just sends stuff in a manufacturer's box, because then it shows people that might be something they want on the way to me, and they might just keep it. And usually and the other thing is they usually get be up a lot, in the shipping. So here it is. It's I guess if I turn it that way, you can see. I can't read it. Ctronics. Yeah, I think the name came back to me now after saying it. Okay, so I'm gonna get it out here. I thought when I buy something brand new like this, it's kind of like to unbox it just so that I have that in a video in case it comes broken or something, Okay, so here's some instructions and a sticker, and let's get it out next. I've got my endoscope over there where I can show close-ups. Oh yeah, it comes with a new Ethernet cable. I hope that's a Cat 6. It should be, because I could sure use another one. I'm going to use it wireless, but it has that so that you can really so you can set it up, I think. You're supposed to be able to, they tell you to set it up with their app, but I'll find out for sure. But all the checking I did, here's the power supply. Cable, it's about 10 foot, I think, a little 9.8 or something. We'll string it out in a minute and find out. And okay, the antenna, mount antenna, and some little screws. Well, those are longer than I thought they were going to be. I wasn't planning on using them. I was planning on using them to, what I'm going to do, I got this piece of scrap wood, brought it in from the garage. I was going to mount it on there, so while I'm testing it, so I could make it stand up. But those are too long. They go all the way through it. I meant to bring some more in just in case, but I forgot. Okay, so here's the actual camera, and just bag off of it. I'm going to need my antenna. Those screws I don't think I can use. Actually, I've got a Cat 6 Ethernet cable already, so I'm not going to. I felt like 2 hours. It was probably an hour, though, Okay, there's some plastic over the lens. We'll take it off in a little bit. I want to look at the instructions a little bit too. Before I'll do that first before. 5 megapixel, 2.8 millimeter, QC9 passed. So yeah, I was just going to mount it. And this is, you know, an outdoor security camera. Oh, and it has a 2A audio. There's the speaker right there. So yeah, when it's outside, you better make sure you don't mount it that way. Water would come in then. You want to turn it the other way. So I guess they kind of figure you'll mount it like that, but probably going to be mounting it either like this or, you know, with it straight out. I'm not going to go up. The thing about security cameras I've noticed for many years, before I really had any real interest in them, they put them up so high that most people do. Companies and stuff used to be on, you know, who you really saw using them, that the thieves, you know, they learned real quick to put on a baseball hat, and then when hoodies, I think that's what made hoodies popular, is hoods, you know, punk hoods. They always wear them, and of course a lot of kids just like to wear them because they think it's cool, and have for too many years now. Seems like it's been 20 years. But our fads didn't last quite that long, but when I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, and I was a teenager in the early 70s and an adult in the rest of the 70s. 75, I was 18 in 1975. So it's Allen, everything's Allen keys. I'll have to get some Allen wrenches. Everybody calls them Allen keys. Well, they call Allen wrenches Allen keys. They're Allen head screws. That's what they are. And Allen wrenches is what you use, but everybody nowadays wants to call them keys, and I don't know why. They kind of make up stuff to call them. But they're Allen wrenches or hex wrenches if you don't want to go by the Allen, you know, somebody named Allen invented them. Just like, you know, crescent wrench is an open-end adjustable wrench, but who wants to say that, you know? But Allen's just as easy to say as hex. I just forget that most of the time. Well, I grew up, they were told me that they were Allen wrenches, you know. So anyway, it also can be used on Ethernet, and they also set it up that way. Power goes into this one, and this is the reset button. And this might be, I'm going to go ahead and see how long that is. I already had a thought about this. I've thought about it, and I've seen people in reviews say they don't really like the power connector a lot because, you know, worried about it getting water in it. I'll go ahead and stretch it out here and show you what I'm talking about. Actually right now that's probably a good place to leave that thing. The endoscope. Okay, so oops, keep hitting cam. Well, I just missed altogether there, but when I started the video you might have noticed my outside camera was the first one I showed. Because I'm used to starting with camera 1, that's how I've always done it, but it's over there in the window, being my security camera. And so anyway, that's the power connector. There's not really anything to, where is the power supply? So this is just, you know, it's really just an indoor cable. That is not an outdoor quality cable. So, you know, it is DC. It's not like it's going to short out or anything crazy, but it is going to corrode if this is outside. And that's why, well, usually people mount them under an eave or under a porch that way. But I'm not going to, I was talking about it being so high. Yeah, when you do that, they're not near as effective. It's better if they're about as tall as a person is, as far as working now. Yeah, if they see them and they want to kind of sneak around, and you know, I'm planning on getting at least 4, maybe 5 cameras, though. There won't be too many places where they could sneak around and, you know, take the camera or break it or whatever. That's the Ethernet. Where's the connectors in there? Oh, there they are. And this is that reset switch. This is pretty common on a lot of different brands. it does have a pretty good. That's pretty hard to get off. That's a weather seal, and that's how you can reset it quickly and easily, which can probably come in handy because that's what first thing they tell you to do if you lose your Ethernet. If you lose your connection to the thing. So let's go to not 1, 2. Let's see how long this is. So long story is that yeah. So what I'm thinking, 10 inches. That's way thicker than my wall. So if I go through, it's a brick house, so I'll have to get a. I'm not going to install it outside today. I'm just going to set it up and test it because I'm tired. I've been messing around all day long. Well, I've been up since 3 in the morning. It's 3 in the afternoon, so just getting tired. But I wanted to go ahead and get started on this. So I have to make a hole big enough for this to go through. That's going to be around a 1/2 inch hole. But I forgot already. About 10, well, probably a wall, the wall altogether with the brick and the 2x4 is going to be about 5, 6, max 7 inches. So I've got plenty hanging through here. I don't know which camera to get under. And then, let's see. That's maybe more like 3/4. I'm glad I got this endoscope out because I can't read that tape without a magnifying glass. Now it's 5/8. Okay, so I have to have I think I'll probably have a 5/8 masonry bit. And I've done it before once when I've only done it to this house once. I was installing an RF cable for a TV antenna, to add another TV. And I just drilled at the corner where bricks intersect because that gives you the biggest circle. And then if you ever want to change it, you can just put some mortar in there and it's gone. It's good as new. And that is something like 3/4. That fat one. I figured that'd be the fattest one. I didn't think about the junction. So it's going to be. I'm going to have a little more than 3/4. I think so. I'm not getting a real good view of that. Let's try burning an inch there. What is it? It's less than 3. It's 5/8 too. Look. Yeah, it's a little more than 5/8. It's almost 3/4. It's kind of hard to get it right. Pretty darn close. About a 16 less than 3/4. So I'm going to call it 3/4. That might catch the corners of the bricks. I'll have to see how that works. I don't want to drill in the middle of a brick because then, you can't patch that without it showing if you changed your mind about having that hole there. And if you go up, if you are up in the eaves like people usually do it, then you've got to go through the attic. And my original idea was, since this cord is really small, that I would just stick it through the window, and you can shut the window on something that small, And I may have to do that, but then all this has to be outside. And the more I thought about it, the more I didn't want that. So we'll see about all that. But then all you need is just, where's my tape at? Then all you need is just if I turn it where it's right side up, it's easier to read. Can't see it. Oh, it's wrong setup. My eyes swap letters and numbers, and it looks wrong side up no matter what I do, so it must be the way the camera's sitting. I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, the camera's, it's really impossible to get this endoscope where it's right side up. I quit trying a long time ago. Now I'm just making things worse. Okay. It's pretty weird doing that on a camera instead of with your eyes. What you do is you look over it, see the widest point. I'm going backwards this time, but let's go forwards. It's kind of weird. Still upside down though. It doesn't really matter what inch you use. Let's just use whatever's convenient. There, 4. What is that? Those are 8s. Okay, quarter, half. Quarter, half. It's about a 1/2 inch, isn't it? Wait, let it move. Can't keep it in the right place. Quarter. Those, okay, this thing's got more marks on it than I realized. It's got 30 seconds. Thought it only, most tapes only go down to 16ths, most carpenter tapes. And this is one of these tiny little tapes. That's what, okay, so 8, yeah, quarter, 3/8. I kept wanting to say 3/8 in my head, but I thought, oh, I'm going to look, make sure. Yeah, 3/8. So, yeah, I know, I'm certain I have a 3/8 bit. And, you know, you can kind of waller it out a little bit. And Mason, that's the other advantage of going through the mortar. It chips out pretty easy, so you can make the hole a little bigger with that, probably with that 3/8 bit. So if that's the only one I stick through there, then that's all I need. I know that'll fit through there. If I decide to do all of the others here, then that will take a bigger hole. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so I'm going to move this stuff all around to where I can do what I need to do. I'm going to get this this out, and it's so that'll probably be pretty good right there. One side of my table is slanted so much nothing will stay on it. Okay, so yeah, now let's get this manual out, and this time I'm just going to go straight to the endoscope so that you can see what I'm seeing here. Just look, that's a good size distance for the focus, but it's not going to show a whole page, it looks like. Okay. Uh-oh, there's papers. If I can, I will try to get that thing right side up to me, too. That's right side up to me, and upside down to the camera. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Maybe I'll have to turn it completely this way, I think. There. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Well, oh no, it's not, because this is a look. I'm looking at it. Let's see. Let's get it the way. There we go. I'm looking at it like this. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Let's see. I'm not going to have room to set it on the table. Like that. Let's put my stuff all back like it was. I know this is really crazy. Okay, that's about it. Pretty good. About as good as I'll probably get it. There we go. Okay, so that is the quality certificate. Yeah, you know, it's so hard to print those out. Nobody could do that and fake it, could they? Just be impossible to do that. Okay. I mean, these computers we got and printers are not good enough to fake anything like that. Okay, so I don't know why. I mean, I debate about that. I used to always think those things were dumb. But, you know, I guess really there is something to the idea of, you know, you let people know they're being watched, and maybe they'll just go on, you know. I used to always think, well, if you want to catch them, that'll make them run away, you know. But you really don't want to. It's not that you want to have to catch somebody. It's that you want to stop. Anything you can do to stop them from doing anything, you know, taking, breaking, or whatever, you know. So it does make sense. And just going to start with whatever. Need help? 90-day money back guarantee. They didn't have okay, there's their email address. I think they had that either that or some email address on the ad on Amazon. But they didn't have their website. Most of them don't, but if somebody asks some question that requires you to go to their website, they'll give their website. There it is, ctronicstech.com. I may have found it anyway. I can't remember now. Okay, create your account. I don't want to create any account unless I have to. I'm not going to, well, does it have cloud? I know it'll work on your own private network, and that's all I'm going to do with it. I'm not doing any cloud. Why would I use their servers when I have my own servers? I have my own cloud. Get off of my cloud. Okay, so that's an old song. I won't sing it for you though. All right, so review. This is just what they want you to do. TF card. Well, I got a Class 10 card. It's not here yet. Well, actually, I've got a 32 gigabyte. That's a Class 10 that I was going to put in. I thought I ordered a 128 gigabyte because I found a good price. Never had one that big. I've got two 64s and two 32s, and I've been still debating about whether I want to put a 32 or a 128 in it. But okay, so there's that paper. There's one that means nothing to me. Oh, now there's, okay, this is I think it's just, does it fold out? This might be the instructions. There's a big booklet here that I thought I'd go to last. There's actually a real book there. That's pretty cool. Oh, hit my mic. Okay, let me see that everything's working on my stream. I'll put that right there. Yep, still got sound and picture. Okay, so yeah, it's too small for me to read, so this is actually making me able to read this. It's a little bit blurry. I guess it needs to be a little closer, but something. But we'll leave it there because I can't hold it still up in the air. Listen to screws, number 2, remove SD card. Yeah, okay, so it's under the speaker cover. That's what I figured. I didn't see that on the page. I may have just missed it. Okay, and then insert the screw cover. Put the up there at the top, number 1. It said put in the SD card. Paste. Oh, my deal's as low as I can get it too. Okay, I'll pick it up a little bit. There we go. Oh, about 1.5 inches. Paste the installation paper on the. Oh, it's a template. Drill the screw holes. All you do is put the screws through the thing itself. That's the best way to do anything like that. I'm taking, like if you're gonna drill three holes in, like when I mount it, I've debated about maybe mounting it on a board. No, I don't want to put a board outside of just right. But now if I mount it to brick, then I probably will have to drill into the brick when I mount this thing to brick. We'll see. Anyway, you can use your drill to mark your spots. You can hold it steady enough, you know, your little base. The template will be all right. I mean, but they're never very accurate, and you end up having to wallow out the holes in whatever it is you're trying to, you know, match. But see, if you take, maybe it doesn't make sense to everybody. So there's one of the holes. You take and you just put the drill through there and just mark it. You know, just turn it on and just mark and don't move it, and do all 3 of them. Get in a place where you can get to all 3 of them. Looks like that doesn't. You know what that thing? Oh, you got to loosen the Allen heads to turn. It will turn. Right now, well, you could always just. It'd be good to have it at an angle like. Well, I don't have the other camera going, so let's go back to the instructions. Okay, I'm going to go through over the instructions. Try to. Okay, put the bracket on. And If I'd show the pictures, it might make some more sense. Huh? Yeah, that was the template's the top portion of the picture there. They're showing the screws going through the plate. They got the camera standing straight up, but leave it bent over so you'll have, your drill will go down there and do what I was if you want to do what I was talking about. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so next. Oh, this is another language. I think that's it. I think there's just more languages. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything on the back side of this. Oh, there's different model numbers on this thing. This is 275C. Well, what's the one I got? Let's see. Here's the, can't really lay it down. Oh, IP address. And of course we'll change the, admin. Well, that's good to put it right there. So you don't have to, you lose your instructions, you'd be screwed. Okay, of course I'll change that as soon as I get it set up. 12 volt, lens is 2.8 millimeter, P2P, that's peer-to-peer UID. Oh, okay, peer-to-peer UID is UUU, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and there's the model number. I went right past that. CTIPC-275C5MP-B-275 Let's see, I think that was the one I read. Let's see. No, I did the C. Great. I don't think there's really going to, in these instructions, they're just telling you how to mount it. I don't think there's really going to be any difference in them. Instructions. This is the 275C. So the card they gave me doesn't even go with this thing, but they must have made an update to the thing and didn't update all the paperwork. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not some big deal. That is kind of crappy, though, isn't it? To give you instructions for the wrong thing. I don't know what. This is just a white sticker. I don't know why that's in there. Maybe so you can stick it on your side of your computer and put the numbers in there or something. Okay, so this stuff we've already looked at. I'm going to put these back in the bag. Everything is just going everywhere. Kind of driving me crazy. I keep running into my camera. Oh, my mic. I bet I was getting quiet, wasn't I? Now I'm probably getting too loud. My mic was sliding down. I have it kind of, the way I have it, it can kind of, if it comes forward closer to me, then it slides down. I don't know what's holding it up there. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's not equipped with an on-off button. I wish I could go lower and be able to lay this on the table, but I can't. I gotta have a drink too. I guess it's, with these reflections from the lights in the room, I kind of need to raise it up anyway. We'll start to work after it's connected to power supply. Confirm the status of camera. Put it in the dark and check if the infrared lights up. If yes, the camera is working normal. Oh, okay. Good tip. If you fail to set the Wi-Fi network for the camera, there may be several reasons. If you failed, you haven't told you how to do it yet, so this is the first page of the manual. Okay, Wi-Fi password is not correct. Well, we know what it is now. That's good. Please enter correct password. The name or password of your Wi-Fi network contains special letters. Oh, okay. Can't put special letters in there. Characters. Or spaces. Can't have spaces either. Okay. Please use classic letters and numbers as password. Encryption of your router is set to combined algorithm AES and TKIP, which is not supported. Oh, good to know. Well, this could really. I'm do a lot of network stuff. I have for years, and I run my own web servers and stuff for my website. So I know what this is. But I do not remember if mine is set to. I used to set it to combined, either or. I believe it's really either or, not plus. Can't remember for sure, but I think there are two different kinds of encryption. One's stronger than the other. That's what I remember. I'll have to look at my router and see. I think I think when, as just a year, 2 or 3 ago, I set them all on TKIP. I think whichever one is, stronger. It's not supported by this camera. The algorithm to AES. Please change the algorithm either to AES or TKIP. Well, at least it does. Can't do the combination, but it can do one or the other. Let's say, what if it only works with one and your router won't even do it? Because, well, if you got that old of a router, you might want to get a new. It ain't going to run this 5 megapixel cameras. But, okay, when the access to the camera, the PC navigator is. When you access the camera, PC navigator recommended to use Internet Explorer. Well, I don't run Windows. I can't use Internet Explorer. Otherwise, some important functions. I wish they'd put that on their web page. Accessing SD card, motion detection, etc. will be missing. Well, isn't that a fine kettle of fish, Ollie? Well, I've been running Linux since 05, so there's usually a way around those kind of things. At the very last thing is you can run Internet Explorer in what the heck it's called. I don't even have it installed on my machine. Wine Windows emulator. It's not really. They say it's not really a Windows emulator. It's something. But anyway, but there's also what's it called? Something about game. Something to do with helping you install. It's kind of made. There's another one that actually works better. It's an interface for Wine, and it helps you install games on Wine. It's kind of what they advertise it as, but it'll help you install pretty much any basic application. The problem is, and I quit using it, is you have to completely build the back end of the Windows system. Like all the DIL files you have to manually install, all Microsoft.NET, anything that an application needs, you got to figure that out and install it in your Wine, for whatever version you use. I used to use XP, and they have 7. I'm sure they have 10 now too. But XP, when I first started using it back in 06, 05, 8, 6, 7, like first 3 or 4 years, I used to always install it, and because I was used to using XP, and there's a lot of apps I wanted to use, and Windows XP. So anyway, I got things working, but it was also real pain. And as the years went by, it got to where there was fewer and fewer applications that would work, because when they went to Windows Vista and 7, they started writing the applications differently to where they wouldn't hardly any of them will just run from an executable. They got to really be installed and really have all the dependencies. And so anyway, that's my last resort. Play on Linux. It's called Play on Linux. That works that's a whole lot easier to get Wine up and going on Linux. Get Wine, Windows apps up and going in Wine on Linux. If you just install Play on Linux, it installs Wine with it. So anyway, that is something you could do if you're on Linux. Let's see, when you access the camera, but usually just a camera. This I'm pretty darn sure this is NDIS compatible camera, and I've got several I found. I got one installed on this system, and I got several I could try out. And then if I use something like forgot the name of that now. What I've been making these other videos on. Yeah, see, ONVIF, that's what I'm talking about. I've got a bunch of software ready to try out. One of them I have installed that you should be able to set up cameras with. And Raspberry Pi, Motion iOS. Motion iOS, I've been looking around at my phone. I'm using an IP webcam. What I'm using for my my cameras right now. It's got all kinds of settings you could do in there. Now, as far as setting up one of these kind of cameras, I don't know, because I didn't. You don't set it up that way. You set it up with IP webcam app, and then you go and just connect to it. Okay, so motion detection. Why in the world would you need a specific browser? If this thing doesn't work for me, I'll have to send it back. But why would you need a specific browser to access an SD card or to get motion detection working? Most of them, they say the motion detection doesn't work unless you put an SD card. No, does it say that? Some of them say the motion detection don't work unless you put an SD card in it, because you can use them without an SD card and just stream the camera to on your local network. And some of them say, well, and of course you can't save any videos. Well, you can save them on whatever machine you're viewing, but if you want to actually have it record videos, and see, the reason I want one with SD cards is because if I've done enough. I've done for about 3 years maybe that I've been making my live videos, with IP webcam on my phones. And, you never know when something's going to go wrong and the Wi-Fi will get overwhelmed and the cache will get filled up on the routers and stuff, and or just some other reason the phone craps out and you lose your camera, So if that happens and you're depending on your wireless stream to get something important on a security cam, then that you're going to lose it. So, but if you have the SD card on the camera itself, then you got a whole lot better chance of it, the recordings being successful. And what my plan is I hope this camera can do it. I never did. I've looked at so many cameras for the last 2-3 months that it's all jumbled up in my head. But I went by, I went ahead and bought this one because it didn't have a bunch of people saying they were breaking on them, and it had didn't have a lot of reviews, but it had more good reviews and more percentage of good reviews than any other thing else I saw, and nobody said they were breaking. All the other ones, they might still have 4.5 stars, with 2,000 something reviews, which that was some of the ones I was thinking, well, I'm probably one of these, but when you get you start looking at the 1-star reviews and a whole bunch of them saying they're breaking, so I don't buy something brand new that's going to break in a month or a year, if I can help it. All right, so on Windows 10, default navigator is Edge. You mean web browser? Okay, you need to enter option of the navigator and choose open the page with Internet Explorer. Boy, they should have put this on the page. They should have put this on their selling page. Of course, then they know people wouldn't buy it. Because, Internet Explorer Windows don't even use Internet Explorer anymore. I guess they have like a Internet Explorer compatible with, option in. I've never even seen the Edge browser. I've seen pictures of it on the internet, but I don't use Windows. The most I've ever touched Windows 10 is to help somebody. Their Windows 10 system broke, and I know how to go find the ISO images and install any kind of operating system, pretty much. I guess. I've never done Mac. I've never had a Mac, but anyway, I helped them reinstall Windows 10 on their Windows 10 laptop. And it was actually a little faster than XP used to be to install. But, and finding the ISOs from Microsoft, that's the hard part, actually. And it took me a while, but I found them. because they weren't where they used to be. And I'm beginning to think they weren't going to let anybody have them. But let me have a drink. I didn't want this part to take forever, but well, I guess it's going to. Okay, resetting the camera to factory settings may solve certain problems. Reading password of the camera, for example, to reset the camera, you may hold the reset button for 30 seconds. Yeah, it said on their sales page, all you have to do is use our app to set it up, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not what this is saying. And so I thought, but I knew, I checked ahead of time. I figured that out already on the other ones I was looking at. My phones are old, and so about half or more of the cameras I was seeing, their app wouldn't run on my phone. Do have a newer tablet, but their app that they suggest, that they say is their app, it said it wouldn't run on that newer tablet either. Androids, all I'm talking about. And I started not to get it, but I just hadn't found anything that I thought was going to last at all, other than this one. But anyway, so I thought I would just hook, this so happens, these instructions are, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Well, I gather you have to set it up first before you could get to it from a web browser. That's what, I started thinking that this instructions right here are talking about, these are special notes, that's what they are. See that at the top now. Special notes. So that's what they started with, which makes good sense. So I figured I would set it up with the Ethernet cable, like I was saying. I'd rather do it that way anyway. I don't like touch devices. I can't work on them well. I can't type on them to save my life unless they go like that newer tablet. I can plug in a wireless keyboard in it and type, use the mouse and the keyboard. But my phones don't support that OTG stuff. So anyway, get sidetracked. Reset the default password. Reset the camera. You may hold the reset button for 30 seconds. I showed that button a while ago. Till you hear the click sound from the camera. Reset. The reset button of CTIPC cameras is located on the cable of the camera. The reset button of the CTIPC camera is located on camera body. What? Oh, they're different letters, CTIPC and CTPC. Well, I know I saw the reset button. For more documentation about the configuration of the camera, you may visit download page on our website, ctronics.com. Yeah, we'll have to go there. Why don't we go there right this minute? My arm's hurting from holding that up to where I can see it. Let's go there first. And this is, I checked and made sure that my Motion OS was working, and it was, and then I shut it down. I'll have to move everything to do that, but that's okay. That won't hurt, I guess. I'll be able to get my keyboard out. Let's see, I've already forgot the address. There's a dash in it. Ctronics-tech.com. Ctronics-tech. We're seeing if that's going to work. I'll Ctronics Wi-Fi cameras. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and put that in the. I guess I'll just put it in cameras folder for now, and then later I'll try and move that stuff to. Gotta make sure I know that It's funny. That's when like web pages 101. Give the title of your web page something that search engines, you know, can index and have people can find it. Homepage is the worst. It's something that's just like the default of the web page builder. You know, that's the worst thing you can have. Okay, so look at my. Okay, CTIPC-275C 5 megapixel dash B. Okay, 275C. We gotta find the right camera. We got stuff on the right here. What is that? Doesn't come up and show you. Well, there's a search, and that's what I was wanting. I cannot remember a word or a letter or a number as long as it takes me to look away from it. 275C. I guess I better go CTIPC-275C. Where'd my search go? C. Try that. Yep, I got the black one. And I'll show where I bought it, you know, on Amazon. I paid, it was $59 with 10% off, so it was $53 or something, $54. But this is it right here. I'll click on it and then maybe I'll be able to find. Can't type. I'm sitting in a weird place. Guess I couldn't scoot up a little bit. I've got my table with my, you know, I can't slide under it. It's got my, it's not just my keyboard tray that I'm using. I got my work table there. Okay, so it doesn't have the number on it, does it? Well, I'm not going to bother with all that right now. What I want to do is try to find the you know, software and all that. Probably going to have to go to the whole nother section. If I'd have found, I didn't find this. If I had, I would have looked it all over and I might have known some of this stuff. I don't know why I didn't end up figuring it out. I think you know, I get so tired sometimes when I'm looking for a month or two and then finally well, I did. I'm going to buy something today. Because I've ruined 2 of my phone batteries using them. It ruins them running 24/7 like that. I ran one for a couple of months, another one after about a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. They swell up. One of them won't go in the phone at all, and the other one, it's swelled up, but it'll go in the phone. And the first one that did that, it had no problems whatsoever. It still held a charge and everything. I let it set her out for about a couple of months, and then the swelling went down, and I started using it again. I don't know which one's which now because I've had them both out on the counter for a couple of weeks, out on the desk. I put one of them went back down a little bit, but anyway, so it's the one I'm using in the camera too right now, the one that I'm showing myself with and showing the desk with and all that. And because these phones won't run without a battery, most of them won't, and they're plugged into power. But what I'm saying is, now this one's going down. If it's not plugged in, if it's just running, the phone's running, there's nothing going on it. You know, it should run all day. Well, it's not. it's going down like you can sit there and see it. If you glance over at it, it's like 1% a minute or so. I noticed it. I let it set all night unplugged, and it was down to like 57%. And none of these, I got 3 of these phones. None of them have ever done that. They go down to like 80% or something, overnight. Maybe 90%, depending on what's getting installed and what's running in the background. What I was thinking here is 2 things. Well, I know software. Okay, that's not even listed there. That's the other word. Yeah, I could have found out more about. I wonder if there's a manual, a PDF manual. Just thought of that. There wasn't. Usually on Amazon, there's a link to a manual. They got Amazon on their page is one of the places where they sell. So I guess I bought it from them. I'm not sure. Now, it's another thing I have trouble with is figuring out who I'm really buying it from, on Amazon or Walmart does that now. That's kind of wild, isn't it? It's kind of cool, actually. Kind of looks neat for a zoom in, better than most of them. Product attachment, reviews. Let's see what's in product attachment. There's nothing, I don't think. Doesn't seem like I got any more information. They don't have any reviews on their site. Wouldn't really expect somebody to buy it on the site for $75, when Amazon and probably maybe other places have them. Amazon has it a lot cheaper anyway. Okay. Guess I'll have to go to support, but I was wanting. Yeah, there it is. That's a whole different number than what CTIPC-275C. There's no C in there. But see, this one says 275C, 5 megapixel dash B. And this says 275. Oh, I see. 275 1080p. This one will go more than 1080p. I might have clicked on the wrong one. Mine will go. It's a 5 megapixel. They really use the same model number for completely different cameras. I think maybe they do. Well, let's just go to support. Maybe that's most likely where we're going to find. I think that took me to support for this camera, I guess. It's like it's not really taking you anywhere, actually. It's not. These links are not. Oh, here we go. It didn't take me anywhere because I didn't see the drop down. There we go. This is what I need. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to Amazon so I can copy and paste the model number and stuff like that. Help me get things right. Yeah, see, it was $59.99 with 10% off. Whatever that works out to be. Now let's see the model number. I don't know if it gives it on here. Here it is. It's got an even longer AAA1. Let's just put it all in there for now. That's the number that's minus the AA1. That's the model number that's on mine. paste it down there in the page search, and then start deleting stuff, and maybe it'll bring up something. See how they have it written. Huh. There's a user manual. Is that for all of them? .275C. Sometimes they don't. Okay, so we're on the CTIPC. Quick start guide. Yeah, I'm going to quit squinting at that paper manual. I'm going to get to see if I can find this PDF manual. So evidently, I'm going to get it. There we go. Usually when I click on a link that downloads a file, PDFs can be really dangerous, you know. Can I, yeah, scan the link. It's probably all right, but let's just make sure. All right. Most of the viruses you run into would hurt a Windows system, and I'm not on a Windows system, but there are some that can hurt Linux. Okay. Yeah, 0 and 71 engines. Scanned by 71 engines, and 0 of them showed any problems. So that's what I like to see. Now, I was wanting to open it up another page. If you hurry, another desktop workspace. If you hurry, you can get it into another workspace. Not always, though. I think it may have opened up in the one I was in. It makes it easier for me to navigate. Yeah, there it is. But all you got to do is just move it to where you want it. Okay, now maybe we can. It's not all English. General, table of contents. While I'm kind of looking at this, or before I look at this, I'm going to check my stream again. Okay. Yeah, that's way better than trying to use that endoscope, isn't it? I am on the desktop. Oh yeah, I'm seeing it on my preview of my live stream. Okay. Now, general introduction, setup camera, application, PC Mac software. I do have a Windows XP virtual machine on this machine. I didn't mention that a while ago, but I really hardly ever use it. And the software they have probably don't run on XP anyway. When I get my real server set up, I'm going to put a Windows 7 virtual machine on it. Probably an XP and a Windows 7 because really, if there is any Windows software that I would want to use, it's probably something I've had since the XP days. It would run on XP, or it might run on 7 too. But I like XP better. Okay. Well, I already know that the browser probably ain't going to work for me unless I could do it in my. I do have Internet. I did not think of that a while ago when I was ranting about Internet Explorer. I do have Internet Explorer in my Windows XP virtual machine. That would be. I don't know. It'd be really hard though because it doesn't get. It gets a different. If it gets a 10. IP address, it's not on the same network. It's my. Probably I'd be going around the block trying to connect to the camera. I'm afraid, but we'll see. At least I remember now that I do have that option. I knew I had some kind of. That's what I started doing instead of using Wine. Just a full Windows operating system inside of your Linux system. I used to do dual boots, but it's a real pain. You're in the middle of something. You need one little thing on Windows. You don't want to reboot and get into Windows. Then all the work that you've got going on in your Linux system, has to go to sleep. You got to shut everything down and all that. So but I can't hardly do that while I can. If I close everything else up, I can run that virtual machine while I'm making a video. Hear a fan. Oh, it's a fan on the laptop. Okay, now let's look at what's on this side about the camera itself. I may have been able to just plug it up, and I might have been able to figure it out without reading all this. But you know, you can go if you don't read. I'm really one of those kind of people that would prefer not to read the instructions. You know, when I was young, I never put any of the kids' toys together on Christmas Eve by reading the instructions unless it got to be after 1 in the morning and I still hadn't figured it out. You know. But I'm learning. You know, I'm old now, starting to learn. It usually pays to at least read over the instructions before you get started. Being able to do it like this on the computer helps me be able to do it, though. I can't. I mean, well, they used to be when my eyes were much better. I had really good vision when I was young, and I didn't need glasses, any kind of glasses. I don't have real glasses now. I just have those dollar store magnifying glasses. Anyway, this book is nice. It's good and thick, but it's also really small print, and I would really have it. My eyes hurt in 5 minutes. I can hardly read through a magnifying glass, so that. But it's not ideal looking at it on the, you know, the way I was doing it a while ago either with the camera, endoscope. Okay, so it's recommended to connect to the camera with mobile device or PC. Okay. 3 ways to set it up. Okay, mobile, PC software, or PC browser. Okay. Now, so that gives me, of course, it's going to be Windows software, but if it'll run an XP, then I could still use it. Okay. Let's see. Mobile, like I said, the mobile application. Now, I have seen people say on reviews all over and over that they use some other mobile software that they like, and like I said, that the letters in something IF letters compatible software. That's why I think I might be able to do it with what I have already installed in the machine, my machine. They say I like this better and it works better. So there are, you know, you don't actually have to use the software that the seller, you know, recommends, or that they call it their app. But when you go look them up, they're like, usually they are by that company that's selling the camera. I've noticed that, but I've also seen in the reviews where people use them on other brands of cameras and stuff. I don't see the name of the app yet. I've got it from sometimes what's on the Amazon page is actually different when you, well, sometimes like one of them, for instance, 2 of them, at least, people would write on the questions and say, this app doesn't work. They said, well, then try this one. And one time I emailed one up. So it's 3 times. One time I emailed one of them and asked them, because the app didn't work. I tried to use, check out the app on my phone and it wouldn't work. And they said, well, try this one. And they told me another one to try. And I decided not to buy it because, well, I won't go into all that right now. But anyway, you had to write them to get a discount. And then I figured it out there. That's how they're getting their good reviews. I've read this before on lots of people's reviews. If you give the seller your email address, then they'll hound you to death trying to get you to emailing you all the time, trying to get you to give them a 5-star review. And so that's what they'll do. We gave you a discount. Give us a good review. So, and then that's why I asked more questions, and then I found out, well, they answered some, and then they didn't. Then I asked 3 more questions, again, and they didn't even answer them. So, well, you ain't gonna answer them right. All my questions, I ain't gonna buy this thing. So, now this one, of course, it's a different camera. Actually, I'm glad I didn't get it because it wasn't 5 megapixel. I think it was 3 or something, maybe 4. But I hadn't found any 5 megapixel cameras that were affordable until recently. Okay, Ctronics, yeah. Well, while I'm thinking about it, let's just make sure. What's the deal with? I guess I'll put that in my bookmarks before I need to close some of these extra pages I have open. It's going to wear out my machine. But before I close that page, I'll go ahead and. Oh, that didn't get put where I wanted it. Ctronics. Cameras. Now then. I should see not only the things I just put in there, but I was thinking I would see the app. Why does that word Ctronics bring up so much? Oh, I see. This is a bunch of old links, for me shopping. Ctronics. That just says Fry's Electronics. Oh, I see. Tronics is what's bringing it up. There we go. I think this is too. Okay, Wayne's View, yeah. I think this is an example of what I was talking about. That, I think, is the app that somebody on here said, yeah, not compatible with your devices. And that doesn't count the new tablet because this new tablet I bought for my mom, and it's on her Google Play, account. So, yeah, the app has bad reviews besides everything else. I don't know. It may be that I've looked at more than one of these Ctronics brand products and didn't even realize it. This one here, Wayne's View, doesn't have any better reviews, but somebody said they liked it somewhere. I've got it written in here, see. Oh, okay. Ctronics, one reviewer said, so I have to say, compared to Wayne's View, the app is not nearly as advanced. I personally like Wayne's View, and then I got over there. So-and-so, so-and-so. Then I got over there, and people didn't like Wayne's View. And it's not compatible with my phone either. So, I guess really it'd be better to use... I didn't want to use a tablet because I just didn't want to, take it in... I'd rather do it on my own stuff, and I didn't want to have it in here in case she wanted to use it or something. But actually, it's a 10-inch tablet, and it's a. Let's see. Yeah, it's an 8-core tablet, and got more RAM than my. I think it's got 4 gig of RAM. I can't remember now. It's got a lot more RAM. I got 1 gig on my phones, but my phones are quad cores. They only got 1 gig of RAM, so. Can't put, and they don't have much space on the onboard memory. That's why I got them for $15 each. They've been great. Alcatel phones. Alcatel's a pretty good brand of electronics. So anyway, for right now, I'm just gonna, so I can't use those apps on my phone, so we won't go apps yet. Let's see. What about software? Quick Start Guide. ITES. I don't know what. Does IT mean Italy and ES mean what? FR for France. I know that. Okay. So yeah, so this stuff up here is the only stuff that has to do with my type of camera. That might be software. Oh, HP2P client setup. Yeah, they don't have those letters in there. Well, I'm not going to download anything yet because I'll probably try doing it. Sometimes, they these outfits do say, "Oh, you have to use Internet Explorer," and sometimes Firefox does work. So I'll try that first, I think, and then see. So, download the app, connect your power supply, and keep it close to your mobile device. Okay, yeah, so that it can sync up to it and all that stuff. Okay, I'm not going to even read that since I can't even do that. Well, let's skim through it. I might be missing something important. There's a password there for your mobile device. Okay. Wonder if you have to do that on the network too. You probably do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 1, 2. Probably gonna wherever no matter where you're, mobile or browser or whatever. We'll see. Let's see now. 2. Which way do we go? 2.2. Okay, so we go left to right. Some of them you have to go up and down, up all the way to the bottom of the left side, and then go to the top. But this one is where you can better. Okay, so PC Mac software. Okay, LAN cable is required. Yeah, this is the way I figured I was going to have to do it, but I wasn't. I was figuring I'd be able to do it in the browser though, or with the software that I have. Hi, P2P from support. Download. Ctronics. Connect the power supply. Same network. Yep. That's what I was doing, is making sure I had enough cables to do all this, hooked up to the right router. I have a D-Link router and an 8-port switch, and then I have another router, a TrendNet, connected to the switch, and so it's on another. It's got its own subnet. It's got its own DHCP server. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting on the wrong thing, because I did that. The cables I had laying out to use, I did that when I was setting up my Raspberry Pi, and I had to mess around for long hours to ended up being the third cable I tried finally was one on my router. Well, some of them have labeled, and I knew that one was, but the other two didn't have labels, so I just plugged them in and see what they were without really thinking. Okay, run the software. By default, there is no software for the password. You may leave the password blank. Click on auto add icon. And I was going to see if it shows up to my Raspberry Pi, that Motion iOS too, and see. It might set it up. That's what I was thinking. Okay, and then you definitely got to get connected to this camera so you can hook it up to your network and everything. Okay, now this is their software. Definitely would rather use computer software than a phone, because like my phones only have 4-inch screens. I can't type on them. And even that tablet of Mom's, I can plug in a keyboard to it, but it's still much harder for me to navigate than a computer. I'm so much, I just don't use tablets. I don't really care for them. They're not logical to me after the last 22 years of being on real computers every day, all day. I just don't want to change. Okay, so software looks like it's got plenty of stuff. It may be worth trying to install it. I can't put a Windows 7 virtual machine on this machine. It can't run it, inside of Linux. I used to have it dual booted with Windows 7 and Fedora Linux. I had Fedora 23, I think, on it. Now I got 28, and I need to go upgrade. But I was just having a wasted. I never used it, and one time a network virus. Somehow I got a network virus, and it hit 3 or 4 Windows systems that I hardly ever used. It crawled through my whole network. I don't even know how it happened, and that's when I got sick of it. I just reformatted everything and didn't. I don't have a single machine with Windows installed other than the XP virtual machine, and until just a couple of month or 2 or 3 ago, when was it? I guess it was in March or something when XP. I figured out. I learned how to set. I had XP Pro, and I learned how to set it up as a commercial. What do they call it? Commercial, system, and that's not the right word, but anyway, it got security updates until early this year, but it's not getting them anymore. So, and can get on. It is on the internet, So if I next time I set up virtual machines, I probably won't turn on. You got to turn on networking if you want to share files between your virtual machine and your host machine, because that's how it's done. And so then you automatically have internet, So, but I never surf the internet with it or anything, but you don't have to get something on those things. You just boot them up. Okay, so with the browser, download PC software search tool from support. Download of Ctronics and install the software on the PC. You still need the software. Connect the power supply. Yeah, there's a screenshot of the I'm trying to check causing my mouse to move. I'm trying to use the other mouse. Oh, dang it. My arm was laying on the mouse. Just hitting the left click button. I'm just trying to make sure that my audio is working. Okay. Now, it's working. All right. Bluetooth device. Oh, that's on the phone, I guess. It shows the IP addresses and the cameras if you had a whole bunch of cameras. Okay. I guess that one is. I don't know. I mean, it says Bluetooth device, and of course, PCs don't usually have. Well, I guess laptops do, but mine don't. I don't have anything Bluetooth except for the phones and the tablets. So, PC camera, and then there's the web page that you get to when you go there. Didn't tell the. Oh yeah, it wouldn't tell you the IP address. Some people don't understand that. They see an IP address in these instructions. That's just an example, and they don't always put that in there. They, this is only an example in parentheses or something. Some of them do, some of them don't. So people go, that's supposed to be my IP address. No, your router gives your devices the IP addresses by DHCP unless you set them up manually yourself. And if you know how to do that, you're not going to run into that problem. If that's how you do it, you know enough about networking. But if you're like most people, I always use DHCP. It's easier. And if I want to, like my web server, I just set up in my router to always give that, whatever it gives it, I just say always give it that one. for whatever. I do that with most of my machines, so that if I need to get to them through, well, I do SFTP and SSH shells and stuff. I do all kinds of network connections to them, But I just used a router to give it the same IP address instead of setting a hard one in the machine's config files and stuff. That's a pain. So connect the camera to the Wi-Fi network. Picture 6. Oh, PC view. Oh no, it might be down here. The next, it says picture 6. That's picture 5. Okay, it's going to be the next picture. Click search, display all the Wi-Fi networks. You can go to your router and find out what its IP address is too. Some of the instructions that I read on some cameras told you to do it that way. Some of them wrote the instructions out on their ad because so many people were having trouble, getting them connected, and then they would give back, send them back and give bad reviews because they didn't understand how to do them. And well, I don't know if they had manuals like, well, this one here. I looked and looked, I never did find, I don't know why. I think it just didn't click with me, like go look up the name brand of the camera for the website. I think I meant to and forgot. But most sellers really do give you their website. Well, they don't always give you their website, but they'll give you their manual. Will have a direct link on the Amazon page to download their manual on a lot of stuff. That's what I usually do. And I kept looking and kept saying, oh yeah, they don't have it. So anyway, here's the network, wireless. So here's the page. Now this is not your router page. This is their page for the camera. And you need to put in your SSID of your router, type of security. This is WPA-PSK, and then AES. But it said on those notes that you could use either one, I believe, just not both. And then, of course, the password or the key. Okay, so you got to get to that page. You have to set all that up. Introduction to mobile application. The app, you can take multiple cameras. I think there's a UID on the, there's a UID on the camera. Yep. P2P, peer-to-peer UID. That's that long numbers. Too long for me to type. If I can't copy and paste something that hard, I'll get it wrong 15 times. So I'll try not to have to do that. Anyway, there's lots of different ways here to do this. So once I kind of get a vague, it's going to be vague. There's so much information here, and I'm, getting sidetracked. But there's the UUID blank right there. But it's just like a router has a UUID or a UID. Router has a UID. This device has a U. Maybe it is just some things they say. Yeah, UID. I'm just saying it wrong. My gosh, the sticker is just coming off of this thing. I think I better take that sticker off and put it on the. I always save the box and put it on the front of the manual or something. Because when that goes outside, that sticker's going to be ruined in a week. Okay, now delete a camera. Okay, so we already went through that up there. There's some of the, they have like a fancy web page to do setup with. Okay, Functions on this interface are not available on all of them. Oh, okay. Refer to the product descriptions of what you can and what your camera can do. Camera settings, password, alarm, all kind of stuff. Alarm, action alarm, record schedule, audio setting. Set the input output volume only for camera with audio function. Record schedule. Okay, setting. You don't have to mess with those, it says. Automatic. Wi-Fi network, SD card setting. You can check it to make sure everything's okay with it in case you need to. Time setting, time zone. Default time zone of camera is set to GMT8. Please modify time zone after connection to the camera. Yeah, I don't like that. I like my U.S. Central Time. Email setting, FTP setting. I wish, yeah, I knew they wouldn't do SFTP. FTP, at least you can do that. You can go in there and copy the files, to your machine, your backup server. That's what I'll be doing, is copying them to my backup drive. I don't have a backup server set up. I may do that, especially if I get some of these kind of cameras set up. Should be able to have it automatically back up to it. Reboot the camera. That's good. Of course, that reset button will do that too, but then whatever was going on, if there was something like a video been written, it would be lost, But if the thing locks up, just like, it's a little computer with a camera, it's gonna lock up at some point, Hopefully it's decent in, the cold and the heat. I mean, they're supposed to handle. That's why you definitely don't want to. I mean, I thought about trying to put one of these cheap phones inside of a plastic case or something, of course, if you're looking through plastic, you're not going to get a good view. But so I thought, well, maybe you put a glass on one side where the lens could look through or something. But anyway, I figured out last few years, I tried to make, videos outside with my cameras when it was hot in the summer, and at 9,800 degrees, they shut down. They can't handle it. And, it's in the summer around here, well, this year, I don't know. I didn't go out, but most summers you're going to have a month or so of 103 to 110, every day. And that seems to be the only time I end up outside when it's hot. And that's because of my health. I can only do things when when I'm feeling better. But the last 2 years, I haven't been able to go outside and do anything. I think last year maybe I did a little bit, or the year before. Touch picture tab to select camera to watch pictures taken manually during monitoring. Oh, I thought it said morning. Oh, manually taking pictures are saved in the memory of your mobile device. Oh, so if you do that, you touch the button to manually take a video. It doesn't save it on the SD card, evidently. It saves it to your mobile device that you were doing that with. Touch that touch something to. It's talking about different buttons and stuff that we can't see right now. So, I'm not going to try to read all of it out loud now. Trying to hurry up and get through. Now that I've seen the important part, just trying to skim the rest. I read so slow. Most people can probably get through the whole thing faster than I can. So, it's so sucky. Same thing. Problem happens with, like, even when some of these companies make this is Mac has less functionality in the software than Windows. Well, the same thing happens to Linux a lot of times. If it's originally written for Windows, then a lot of times the Linux functionality won't be as much there. Okay, so here's some screenshots. Pretty involved software. It's going to take a while to learn it. I'm not even going to try to, I mean, there are tiny little letters there, PTZ, reset color. I'm going to try to read all of it until I get into unless I get into the software. Auto add. Oh, add cameras of the same LAN automatically. That'd be cool. But the NV, what is it? Yeah, NVIF. Now, see, that's the thing about I wanted to make sure. You know what? I didn't see NVIF anywhere on this camera. Hopefully, I may have decided it was compatible just because of all the features it had. But yeah, if it's not NVIF, let's see. NDIF. Now I've already forgot. I'm going to open up that app I have. I think maybe it's NDIF. I think the searcher wasn't ready yet. Oh. There it is. ONVIF. There it is. Viewer. This thing, let's see. I couldn't see my IP camp phones on it. And I think it just now hit me. I bet I know why. Because I didn't have the IP address, IP set up right. The only thing I could do is view one of their example cameras. Move this to the different place because I don't like all that confusing junk on the. Anyway, it has some settings, and this is. Looks like I left one camera in one of these example cameras. Let's see, how do you, oh, there's a button down here, add a camera. Okay, add a demonstration camera, manually add a camera, add any cameras. Okay, manually add a camera. But it really doesn't have a lot of settings, though. But I couldn't tell for sure because, for instance, can't remember my IPs or anything, so go here and get it. I just realized why maybe let's see, you don't have to put the HTTP, but you do need to, I think you do need to put the port, and you got to put, for mine, for IP webcam, you need, I don't need a password. So what do you do to say we're done? Don't know. Is there a button I'm missing? Sometimes when you full screen stuff, you know, it doesn't. Username, password. Surely it works without. Does it just save it? I'm just going to hit enter at the end of that line and see. No, it doesn't do anything. I don't think this is going to be of any use to me after all. It's really just a viewer. Device settings. Oh, I see. It moves you from the left side to the right side. Yeah, there's very little that you can do with this. Don't need that camera movement fix. I wonder if me adding that on there made it. No. It's not making any sense. Absolutely no other things you can do. No OK button. Hitting enter doesn't cause anything to happen. I don't even know how to get to the first page again. There it is. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. View and settings. So that's all there is to the settings. Just error occurred. Okay, so that didn't work. I think that ONVIF devices are not, my phones are not ONVIF devices, I think is what it is. Settings, remove camera. I think I decided that already. So, yeah, that's not going to help me any. Where was I? Set motion and all everything under the sun. Oh, PTZ, that's the ones you can zoom and pan and tilt and zoom. So, well, at least pan and they don't all zoom, but they pan and tilt. I'd like to have one of those. Originally, before I decided I needed security cameras, I just wanted them to make my videos with. I thought they'd be really good because I can set them up and then just use OBS Studio to switch between them, like I do with the phones. Only get better quality, higher resolution cameras and stuff. The only thing is, though, I really can't. I haven't ever been able to. Well, I think it's a big part of it is the phones, how fast the Wi-Fi chip is on them. And of course, you could go wired and get do. If you're wired, then you're going to get, like I have gigabit routers, so you're going to get gigabit. Actually, my Wi-Fi router, my D-Link, its Wi-Fi is supposed to be faster than gigabit. 1200 for 2.4 gigahertz, and I think 5 gigahertz is more like 14 or something, 17 maybe. Theoretic max. But so anyway, let's see. According to a PCR disk, we're getting close to the bottom of it. Alarm management, user management, web interface. May not be displayed. Yeah, I was taking that as will not be displayed. So sometimes you can just, things that aren't going to be displayed, you can get them to work. Maybe, well, usually for me it's my ad blockers and stuff. Turn them off, But if it needs Java or Flash, I don't have that installed. Well, I think I have a Java player, but I don't have Flash at all on my browsers. No, I'm not putting it in there. So there's a whole bunch of more interface stuff. Parameters of the video are set automatically. OSD set select information to be played on the screen. Yeah, don't mess with this stuff. Don't mess with the DNS, HTTP, RTS, PRT, MP settings. They're only for professional users. And kind of really yell. I've for years I learned how to do these kind of things, like use these things for streams with VLC media player, video LAN, VLC media player, which is video LAN. I don't know what the C stands for anymore. But you don't. It's not just a player. You can stream with it. And I used to use it. It used to be really light on the resource usage. Now it's real heavy. But that's how I learned to stream. And back when I had Windows 98, before I got into Linux. But used webcams and old computers and made videos, And so anyway, and they've changed it the settings and the interface, and I can't get either one of these to work hardly ever anymore. HTTP I can get to work sometimes. It's not. I learned it, I guess, really the hard way, and then tried to make it easy, and it don't make sense to me. I can't get it to work. It doesn't tell you when you have errors. It just says doesn't work. It doesn't give you any hints as to why. And I think it used to do that. But you just have to go through and pick every combination of codecs and transport streams that you could think of and try to get it to work. And just get tired of messing with it. OBS Studio just works. It's wonderful. That's what I'm using to stream with now. Anytime I want to do a stream. You can just record videos to your computer. You can stream to YouTube or other, services. Let's see. Get back to looking at this. Okay, ONVIF. Finally, they mentioned it. Set. ONVIF when the camera is connected to ONVIF in VR. NVR is what they call the if you get one, or if you get a set with one, so it has you can, if you're going to record on it, you need to put a hard drive in it, or at least a flash memory or something, if they support that. But they're a router, and a DVR, but it's called NVR. Router, DVR, and viewer. They have usually they have a VGA and an HDMI port output to plug into a monitor or a TV. It's all in one. And the reason I really didn't want to go that way is because they will fight for the airspace with your routers in your house, And what I do when I was talking about going out in the garage and stuff, or outside and working, I have a wireless router out there that I turn on that is set up as a wireless repeater, so it repeats my wireless signal, makes it strong enough to work out there. And actually, the computers I have out there are old that have when you set it up, a router is a wireless repeater, then it strengthens your signal from one. I'm in one end of the house, and the garage is at the other end, so it strengthens the signal all the way through, back and forth, and also, as a bonus, the one out in the garage, it's going through the Wi-Fi, but then the Ethernet ports work too out there, so I can plug those old computers in out there. But the heat and the cold ruins them over time. I've got the first one I had out there lasted quite a few years, and it just got slower and slower. It's like down to less than like a megabit a second, and it would do 150 when it was new, maximum. And then I put my Linksys out there. It was already acting up and not working right, and it'll only do like 1 to 3 megabits. So it's really not usable hardly at all. And you can like look up something, but like on Google, but you can't play music and stuff. I used to do that. I used to play web music and stuff through the internet, because I got speakers and stuff out there and an amplifier. Motion detection. Okay. Video what? I saw something about video shade. Select not to view specific areas. Okay. Well, that might be Input RGB code of color. Oh, that'd be hard. I think it's just saying shaded, kind of like the way that, I don't know, that's not the example, I don't think, but see how that picture looks. I don't know what that's all about, but you know how, like Google, they hide the license plates, I think, YouTube, I think, or Google Earth hides the license plates. I think that's what it's talking about. Not like when you're doing motion detection, you block out areas that you don't want to detect motion in. For instance, me, everywhere where there's tree limbs, I block them out so that when the wind blows them, it doesn't make a motion, make a recording. I still get way too many though with my phones. Some of these are supposed to have better motion, automatic and better motion detection too. If you get your password, reset the camera. So I think that reset button, I think it does more. It might do more than just, not sure. If that reset button is just to turn it off and turn it back on like a computer. That's what I thought it was. But they're saying cannot be recovered. If you get the password, you'll have to reset the camera. Factory. Oh, okay, that's different. Reset it to factory default. You'd have to use, I guess you could do it with the phone. Well, you couldn't do that if you forgot your password. You'd have to do it probably with the Ethernet cable. I don't know. I'll have to make sure that reset button doesn't do that. I won't want to hit that button and have it lose all my settings and have to start over. Okay, reset option in the mobile or PC software reset. Okay, so it's not the reset button. Okay, and if the camera is just offline, you may hold the reset button on the camera for 15-20 seconds. Okay, that's the way I thought it was. Yeah, because I had learned that just from shopping for these things, from people saying I don't know how to. My camera won't show up, and what can I do? And then the seller would write back, hit the reset button, or someone would say, "Where's the reset button?" It's kind of funny. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would have done it too, but I showed where they are on the cable, and people were just going nuts saying, "I can't find the reset button. It's on that cable, big as life." They were looking on the camera, and that's understandable that you could do that. That sticker, it ain't staying on the camera even right now. I think I'll just put it right on the front page of the book. It keeps peeling up, and it's cool in here. It's 77.5 in here. Well, it's not hot at least. Well, I'm not hot. I would be actually. I usually get hot about like that with the windows are all shut, but I got the window open a little bit. It's 59 outside now, but the air feels cool. Let's see. This is some of that stuff I read out of the book at the beginning there. I think it is what that is. It's called FAQ on here instead of special information or whatever. Oh, okay. The alarm recording is 15 seconds. How can I make it longer? Well, you can't. Except for 15 seconds, cannot be modified. At the end of 15 seconds, if the camera continues to detect movement, it will start a new recording. Oh, a new recording. End of the movement. Lasts more than 15 seconds, there will be multiple recordings. Oh, that's kind of sucky. My phones, the IP, it's not my phone, it's on my phone, so the IP webcam app. You can go 5 minutes is the least you can set it to, and then you can go up to an hour or more. And so every time it sees movement, it does a 5-minute video. Except for sometimes some kind of glitch happens, and it'll do 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a couple of minutes, and I get a lot of those videos like that. I don't know what causes that. So this is the opposite. Now you're going to get a whole bunch of 15-second videos. That will save a whole lot of hard disk space, though. But the thing is it may stop right in the middle of somebody, throwing a rock through your house or your window or something like whatever. I'm just thinking of stuff. Breaking into your car, it'll be all broken up. So what it should do is, as long as there's movement, keep recording on the same video. I know you can do that in, apps, in the surveillance apps, surveillance software. There's some kind of settings in my camera that says something to that effect, but since it records 5 minutes every time, I really didn't need to worry about it. I just left it on that. So you keep receiving frequent alarm notification with emails, but when I check the image, there is nobody. Okay, calculates changing pixels. This is one of the things I was interested in. On the image to judge if the movement is due to this fact. The camera is not able to differentiate moving objects. It may be dogs, trees, insects. So this is not, some of these cameras said they had some advanced motion detection. This one don't have advanced. Doesn't sound like. Insects, change of light. Recommended to define specific detection areas in order to reduce false alarms. By the way, during rain, snow days, the pixels of the whole image, changing the motion detection of the camera is not reliable. Yeah, this does not have that advanced stuff that I was thinking that most of the 5 megapixel cameras had. My brain, I was worn out when I decided to buy this thing. I didn't think of half of the stuff that I had already learned that I wanted in one of these. But hopefully it'll be good and clear. Well, I guess if I ever hook it up, we'll find out, huh? Won't find out about, it's getting close to dark now. I already knew I was too tired to, go hang it up outside anyway. I was thinking I might just put it on that board and set it on the windowsill or something outside. But I'd probably be doing good just to maybe put it on the board like I was saying, but I have to get some shorter screws. But first I'll just see about getting it hooked up and I can hold it and aim it at myself and stuff like that, and aim it around the room. Get an idea of how clear it is and how much bandwidth it uses, whether or not I can even use. I never have seen the one thing that I was interested in. I just remembered most of these ones you can stream at a lower resolution so that it won't fill up your, overwhelm your network, and then save at a higher resolution. Save the video to the SD card at a higher resolution, at the full resolution. That's what I want to do. I might have not got one that does that. Yeah, in order for those notifications, I'm not going to use that. In order for the notifications to work, you got to run the app on your phone all the time. And I've seen this over and over in the reviews. The app crashes my phone, or it uses up my battery in 10 minutes, and all kinds of crazy things. Different apps, And of course, the app won't even go on my phone anyway. So. But I don't want the email notifications, especially if it doesn't have any very good motion detection. This may end up being a camera that will be good for me to do my live stream with, but not really a good security camera. Because if it doesn't have good motion detection, it may work out. I mean, if it's only doing 15-second videos, that is weird. I wish I'd have noticed that. I've already learned years ago that when it comes to, I don't want 5-minute ones. I'd want 30 seconds to a minute videos. Because by default, And then, I know what I'd really like is what I said, except for if there's still something going on and there's still movement. As long as there's movement detected, just keep on recording. I may be up to a certain amount of time, like 5 minutes or 10 or 30 minutes or whatever. But like if there's something really going on, somebody, you know, they could be there for 10, 20 minutes, you know, possibly. Oh, at night you're not, it's black. You're not getting anything. Wrong LED mode. Please open mobile application, enter real-time surveillance interface, and click on bulb symbol on top and set to normal. I have alarm recording, continuous recording at the same time. Oh, alarm and continuous. Since this latest software of the camera only supports one recording mode at a time, when alarm recording is enabled, continuous recording will be disabled automatically. What's the other thing? Don't have a router, how can I access the camera? Has fixed. The camera has a fixed IP address, 192.168.1.88. That's, if that's really correct, I was just saying about getting the IP address from the, I think from all the stuff I read, it's going to get it, the IP address from the router. You may connect the camera to your computer. Oh, I guess if you don't have a router, it'll do that. Okay, if you don't have a router, it's going to set its own IP address. Okay, and you connect to it by a network cable. Modify the address of your computer to 192.168.1.20. Then you may input 192.168.1. Yeah, that's what I say. You got to be on the same network. So you change your computer's IP address to to the subnet of the camera to do that. That's pretty doggone tricky networking stuff for somebody, most people. I wouldn't want to do that, because then, okay, so let's say you don't have a router and you have your one computer and you have it hooked up to your modem, you know, whatever kind of internet service you have, you can have a modem. So it gives your computer an IP address. If you change that, you're going to be knocked offline. You're not going to be on the internet anymore. Well, that's stupid. But, I mean, at least you can do it, right? I always thought they were going to say what most of them say is, we'll just connect to it with the app on your phone. Straight to it, you know, over Wi-Fi. I'm seeing why you couldn't do that still. I have enabled transmission of image and video FTP server. However, I only receive an image in my FTP server. I have enabled transmission of image and video to FTP server. However, I only receive image in my FTP server. The alarm video does not saved on the server. Maybe I'm getting too tired. I don't understand that sentence. Camera has not enough memory to execute the task. Video transmission to FTP server. Please install SD card in the camera and the video transmission will be done. Oh, yeah, okay, so they're, that's kind of what you see on most of them, just a different way of saying it. Well, no, other ones do say they could do that. Oh, anyway, I guess it depends on which one you're getting. Yeah, you got to save it to the SD card, and then it copies it from the SD card to your FTP server. That was a given to me, but yeah, okay. But if you didn't put an SD card in it, then you're not going to be able to, it's not going to be able to copy the video in real time over to, it's just streaming a live stream. If you don't have an SD card in it, then it can't, that's what they're saying, is it can't save the live stream. It says it doesn't have enough memory in the device to do that. It's not a powerful enough computer in it. Okay, access the SD card and get recorded video, but I cannot play it on my computer. Recorded videos are H.264. They said it was H.265. Well, this could be an old manual too. It says it's H.265 all over it. Better be. One of the reasons I bought it, because that's supposed to use a lot less resources and a better quality video, a lot less bandwidth on the internet, either on your network. High player software. Most any video player plays H.264, and most of them play H.265 now. Because it's been out, I don't know how long now, a year, 2, 3 even, I don't know. But depending on what kind of computer, what you got on your computer, you might not be able to watch it. Or you could convert it, the file, to AVI. Yeah, that'd be a great format. That file, that video would be like twice as big then. Be high, good quality, but look at. Yeah, I've been running normally, but it's disconnected. How can we reconnect the camera? Make sure there's no problem with your network. Check the infrared LED is still lit up. That means it's running, I guess. If no, there may be a problem with the power supply. Place the power adapter. If yes, how they know their power supplies go out. Evidently. Please reset the camera to factory default settings and connect the camera again. If I thought they were going to say hit the reset button. If the reset does not solve the problem, please contact us. I've seen a lot of complaints about having to reset their camera to factory defaults over and over. And how can you set it to factory defaults if you can't connect to it? Everything you do has to be done remotely with a phone or PC software. But if you can't connect to it, that don't make sense. And I never saw anything that said hold that button in for like a minute and then it'll do that. A lot of devices like routers, if you hold the button in, some of them, if you hold the button in for 30 seconds to a minute, usually it's about a minute or more, so you don't do it accidentally. It'll reset it to factory defaults. Most routers do that I've had. Or if you hit the button just a short, that's the reset button. Now, if you just need to, they always call it resetting the router. Rebooting is what they should call it. If you just want to reboot it, if it has a power button, turn it off and turn it back on. If it doesn't, then unplug it and plug it back in. And these cameras don't have a power button, so you just unplug them. But the reset button, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. From what I gathered reading this a while ago, the reset button itself is just a power on, power off button. So that's the manual. Now let's get back up here to the software portion. Oh, I need to download that software, and I also will try it with Motion iOS and see. It has a lot of settings in it. If it shows up in there, then I won't have to fool with all that Windows software. Well, I still will to do any fine tuning, I'm sure, but just to see if it works. I'm actually already a bit disappointed about this thing. I'll leave that sticker on it in case until I decide if I want to send it back. Of course, if it's not malfunction in some way, I'm not going to pay to send it back. The only way you can send them back free is if there's something wrong with them. So let's see. Browser, mobile app, software. There we go. PC Mac software. High P2P. That's what we want. Which I believe is going to be, I forgot to close down extra windows that I didn't need, didn't I? Beta for Mac. Okay, you only got 2 choices. Get over here and make sure we hit the right one. Of course, I don't have Mac, so I always hold down Control and click on a link so that it will open it in another window so I don't lose the page I'm on. And when that gets downloaded, and see, and I use, it's already downloaded, I use the PTZilla to scan the link. That's one scans the file and the link to make sure that went, you know, that's nothing malware on that stuff, especially with Windows software. Okay, this is the file. Yeah, it's already been checked. If it's already been checked before, it's usually pretty fast, but by VTZilla. So it's 71 virus scanners says it's okay, so that's good. Now, and the page, well, this one went straight just to that file. No engines detected the URL. Yeah, okay, so the URL is not known to be a bad URL of where the file is. Sometimes, usually there's an actual page to go along with the links, you know, actual web page. What else is in here just to see? Yeah, Ctronics, what is that? Search tool. I should be able to see it in my router. So I'm guessing that it'll get an IP address from my router, but if there wasn't a router, then it will have it'll set its own IP address. If it sets that, you know, 19.1, my router's a well, if it did try to set it on my router, it'd be a conflict. So anyway, that'd be a different subnet, and that'd be a pain in the butt. I'd have to forward to that subnet and all kinds of crap. I don't know how you can do it with a camera. I've done it with routers over and over for years, but I never had one of these kind of cameras. So I've had the phones. It's very similar. So, yeah, apps on the phones. Quick start guide. CD. Oh, there's a CD. So you could download. Might be worth doing. Install camera without network cable. Input information. Email setting. Ctronics 1, 2, 3. The search tool they kept talking about. I'll wait and see if I actually want that. File converter. Yeah, all those software they're talking about, it's all right here. So that's good. Okay, just leave that right there. I'm going to just do a screenshot of that, so I'll kind of be able to review that without going back to that page. Okay. Now, only one problem here. I have gone so long here that, how long is this video? 2 hours and 9 minutes. I've gone so long here, I need a break. Because this is not going to be some quick thing. So I guess I will stop this stream, take a break, and then start another one. I think it's going to be the smartest thing to do. I'm also getting to where I'm going to have to eat me a cough drop. I'm getting hoarse. Camera's I had it kind of hanging off the table. I think I'll put it up there where it can't fall. All right. I'm just going to go now. Oh yeah, I was going to show. I can't. Oh, that's outside. All I can show is the keyboard in my lap. Okay, so I'm going to go and come back after I have a little break, and then the next stream will be the actual one where I really hook it up. Okay, hopefully just a little while here, 10 minutes or something, if you happen to be somebody actually watching right now. Okay, be back.